Hey guys, welcome to my channel, LeBron Haters Refuge. This is my first video. I've done videos, I have a channel, been doing this for a while, but I constantly am bombarded with LeBron worship in my timeline. I'm constantly hearing how great LeBron is. I played college basketball myself. I played overseas, um, and I'm older. I don't really care about trying to play basketball anymore. So really, I was a fan of the game. I was pretty much a fan, pretty much most of my life. I got into basketball when I was a kid. I got to junior high, seventh grade, played basketball, got off into, of course, Michael Jordan at the time. He was fighting towards his first championship. And, I was a fan of his. I was a fan of Dominique Wilkins. I was a fan of Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, all the greats. Dr. J was a little bit before my time, but I did remember him and I was a fan of his. And then all of a sudden, I just decided to really get into, really being a good, a real student of the game and just stuff. Because I started playing myself, organized. And when I became a student of the game, I earned a level of respect, especially when you're playing. Because one of the things about being a basketball player is like, back in the days, we had a rite of passage into manhood. You had to go out and be a warrior and fight, do different things. Today, not as much. More so today, that has been replaced with sports in today's culture and society. And most of the time, that's the closest thing to it. There are certain rules and guidelines about being a warrior, right? One of my favorite movies was the movie 300 with Gerard Butler. Came out some years ago, and I love that movie because it best depicts the mindset of a warrior in the sense that when you go out into battlefield, you come back on your shield dead. The wife told King Leonidas, "Bring back your shield or come back dead on it," something like that. Basically, what she was saying was, go out and give it your all because Spartan culture was respected to give everything, give it all you have on the floor. When you're a Spartan, in a sense, when you're a warrior that believes in giving your best effort. When you look at the sport, the sports landscape, that's not the case today. You have a lot of players that don't have that warrior mindset. There once was a situation where there was a more warrior mindset, but I don't think there is now. I just don't. And so right now, what I want to do is just come up here. This is not going to be a long video. I just want to come up and show you guys why I feel the way I feel about LeBron James and why this channel is called, LeBron Haters Refuge, right? Because it's a refuge from all of the just fuckery that you see out here as it pertains to LeBron James and his greatness. And let me first start by saying this. LeBron James is one of the greatest players to ever play the game of basketball, bar none. I'm not gonna sit here and try to debate his greatness. I'm not even gonna sit here and try to debate if he's one of if he's in the top. I would say I don't have him in my top 10, but I would, if you're gonna put him in your top 10, fine. I don't see how he makes the top 5. I just don't. Because there are a lot of players that accomplished a lot more with less, a whole lot less. I'll make the case, and I'll probably do a video about this. I'll make the case that Charles Barkley, if given the amount of help that LeBron James has had over his career, would probably have racked up a bunch of rings as well. Even more, like 2011 Miami would never happen to Charles Barkley, ever. So we're going to get to that. But first, I want to share my screen and I want to just kind of do something I've never seen anyone do. But somebody has to do this. It's because they call you a hater and different stuff. Like I get called a hater all the time, but I'm not a hater. I tell the truth. Let's get to it. So this is LeBron James's career. All but one season where he didn't play at least 60 games. And that's where he had 55 games. That was the 20. It was this season here, I think. Was it this one? Game right here, 2018, 2019. So 2018, 2019 season is the only season where he didn't play a full amount of games, right? Um, and so what I want to do is I want to compare some things because we always say, he's said that he's the greatest of all time. He has a scoring record, right? Scoring title. He played 22 seasons. This is his 22nd season. He's literally, played more seasons than most. And so, yeah, he's taking the most shots, all-time turnover leader or whatnot. I mean, that's just him. That's who he is. But right now, what I want to do is talk about something that I want you guys. I don't think we talk about often, and that is comparing him to Michael Jordan. So in this second tab right here, I have LeBron. This is Michael Jordan. Now, Michael Jordan's a different case for a few reasons. Number one, his second season, I'm just going to highlight it. As you can see, was a season where he only played 18 games. He was on restricted minutes up until the playoffs. So you really don't want to count that season in Michael Jordan's lore of who he is as a player. It's not fair to do that. And then you have the season where he retired, played Major League Baseball, obviously. So we'll put that highlight. But also you have to take that one where he came back and only played 17 games because he didn't even play a whole season. I mean, so often you have to count when you're talking about greatness. You have to count everything. You can't, you have to count it in such a way to where you know what the deal is. You know what I'm saying? You can't just count greatness and say that, okay, he's greater than Michael Jordan, and he's not. Because look at this, the man came back out of shape. He shot 41% from the field. So, and he only played 17 games. So we'll take those three. So let's just, for ease of math, let's get rid of these 3 seasons right here. These 2, yeah, let's get rid of all 3. Let's get rid of this one, and let's get rid of this one. Now, you can count these 2 seasons, but I don't really think people are counting the latter seasons of LeBron's career either. But let's keep them in there, just so we can know what we're dealing with. All right? So, when you look at this, Michael Jordan played, let's count how many seasons he played. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 full seasons in Chicago. Now, I know the LeBron fans are getting a bit nervous because you see the level of the potency of Michael Jordan. You just see it. You see it when he was healthy. He played, look at there, 82 games, 82 games, 82 games, 82 games, 82 games, 82 games, 82. I mean, the man played all 82 games. It was only this season here where he played 60. He was hurt, right? So, and I'm going to take that off too. We can take this season off. Let's take this one off because he was hurt. He only played 60 games. So let's take this one off. Now let's go do the same for LeBron. It's only one season where he was hurt and didn't play that many games, and it's this one. Now you can count that one when we played 67. He got another one where he played 45. So let's take these seasons out. Let's do it. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. He at least needs to play 70 games for it to count because there's 82 games in a season. So 45, let's take that out right there. 2021, take that out. And we're going to take out the season where he played 55 games. And we're going to take out the 67-game season. He got a 62-game season here. Notice a pattern? He's not playing that many games, right? So we got one right here. Do I take this Cleveland season, 2014, 2015, where he went to the finals? I don't know what, this is when he took the 2 weeks off. I think this is when he took the 2 weeks off too. We'll take it off. I'm going to be fair. We'll take it off. Now, this is an average of this is him. How many seasons do we have where he played the majority of the games? Because I can't even say the full seasons. These are considered full seasons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 full seasons, 4 championships. Now, I know what the LeBron fans are going to say. Well, yeah, but you can't count that because he wasn't And also I think I gave Jordan 12 seasons, so it's 12. 6 out of 12, that's 50%. He's at about a little under 25% as far as winning championships. Now, do I need to count who played with the most All Stars? Obviously, we know Michael Jordan didn't play, but with who? One All Star. That's Scottie Pippen. That's it. LeBron had a few All Stars he played with. Ilgauskas, and the list goes on and on. From Ilgauskas all the way down to Anthony Davis. I mean, D'Angelo Russell technically was an All Star until he came to. Yeah, even led the Brooklyn Nets to the playoffs. But we'll go there later. But I just wanted to come here and do some things. Let's just do some comparisons. Let's compare let's compare field goal percentage. So his field goal percentage minus those seasons is 50.7, right? Michael Jordan, field goal percentage. Oops. Well, let's do this right here. 50.8, and then you got that one season right there that'll probably pull it down. But for some reason, let me get rid of these. Now let me see. There we go. 50.2. So they're about the same. You say, well, yeah, he has a better field goal percentage. Well, technically, Michael Jordan shot the majority of his shots, and we'll do other videos about advanced analytics later, but Michael Jordan shot the majority of his shots outside the paint. His whole and that's the thing, as being a basketball player myself, there's something called a degree of difficulty, right? Like if it's more difficult if you shoot 50%, let's say you shoot 47% from 3, and somebody else shoots 50% from 5 feet in, right? Come on, do we need to, the math just maths, right? And what I'm saying is harder to shoot. Which one is easier? The 5-foot bank shot or closer, or the 3-pointer? And it's the same. It gets more difficult as you get away from the rack. Well, 2/3 of Michael Jordan's buckets came, from outside the paint. Most of his whole game was pretty much centered around the middle game. That's what he was known for doing. So I wanted to kind of put that out there for you guys, so you guys have some sort of frame of reference, right? But let's go ahead and go there. So they're pretty close on field goal percentage. Mike played 82 games, and when it's dark like that, I think he led the league or something as as a shooting guard or whatnot. But also you got to look at positions as a shooting guard. And a lot of people don't know this. Michael Jordan as a shooting guard is the second all-time best or greatest rebounding shooting guard of all time. You don't hear that often. He's the second best. LeBron is like number 8 as far as rebounding. Now, head to head, yeah, LeBron averages more rebounds than Jordan. But Jordan is a shooting guard, and LeBron is a small forward for the majority of his career. In fact, if you really want to be honest with you, that would be like, and I saw that video some years ago that came out comparing him to Michael Jordan, and it said, Jason Kidd averaged about 5.8 rebounds. He's a very good rebounding point guard. Whereas, Brook Lopez averaged 5.9, almost 6 rebounds. He's really not a good rebounding center. So you can't just, and what I'm saying is, as you go down in what is expected from a player, and particularly when you're talking about over the last, I'd say that's changed over the last, I'd say 5-6 years. Before that, it was more traditional going back in time. So if you were a small forward, you were expected to do certain things. If you were a shooting guard, you were expected to do certain things. That's when Michael Jordan played. And that's the way the game works. Centers were expected to rebound. Power forwards were expected to rebound, right? So that's the way it works. And so Michael Jordan, and I've seen Nick Wright say, oh, well, he's a better rebounder. He's a better this. He's a better that. He's a better. Well, no. That's one statistic where I think it's misleading to put the numbers like that, right? Let's see. Field goal attempts, obviously 22 for his career. Michael Jordan averages about 22 field goals. LeBron averages for his career field goals attempt 19. Okay. Closer, But Mike averaged about 3 more shots. So, I mean, I get that to Mike. Mike took more shots until he got to the Wizards years. He took less shots. Let's see. Let's look at what else? How about three-pointers attempted? Now, let's look at the earlier years up until he played when he up in the years when he played with the Bulls. He only attempted 0.6, 0.8, 0.6, 1.2, 3 in 1990. Then he went down to 1. 1.1, 1.3. Now, these are championship winning years right here. These are championships. So 1.1, 1.3, 2.9. He retires, comes back, 3.2, 3.6. And what's that? 1.5, right? Now, I want you guys to also, now this is the last year. He didn't really take that many three-pointers. I want y'all to look at something as well. If you look at these years, his percentages were low because it wasn't a shot he took. But in 1988-89, he shot 37% from the three. And when he took 3.3 three-pointers a game, which is higher than league average at the time, right? You go down, he stopped shooting them, 91. He plays, I think he shot 27. Then he goes up to 35 the last year, that before he retired. Then he comes back 42%, 42.7% from three. That was his year when he first came back when the Bulls won 72 games. 37%. Now take in mind, these are 5, 6, 7 points higher than league average. League average at the time in the 90s was 35%. And that's another thing I want to talk about as well. 35%. Today it's only 37. So it's not like these guys are better shooters. And I'm going to talk about that too later. This whole myth of them being more skilled. That's a myth. What they think when they say more skilled, they mean better ball handlers. That's all they mean. They're not talking about, they're definitely not better shooters. That's actually 37 and 35% is pretty, like, that's the thing. If you want to say, okay, technically they're better three-point shooters because they average 1.7 more, field goal percentage points. So they're better as far as three-point shooters. That's actually not true. It's just not true that they're more skilled, especially when you're neglecting half the game, which this little spreadsheet I got right here doesn't account for that. It doesn't account for first team all defense, defensive player of the year. And we're going to get into that too, because I got that video of the guy talking about that was the farce that Michael Jordan got the defensive player of the year. Okay, the man led in steals. I think he was like, what? I don't know how many blocks. Let me see blocks. I think we can see blocks here. Blocks. 1988 is right here. 1.6 blocks a game. That's pretty good for a shooting guard. I think, in fact, he's an all-time leader in blocks as a shooting guard, man. Come on, man. Anyway, we'll get to some things. But the point I'm trying to make is, as you can see, Mike played significantly less seasons and accomplished significantly more with a total of 12 full seasons. Because you can't, unless you want to count seasons where Mike was hurt and limping, and you want to count seasons where LeBron was hurt. If you want to do that, we can, but we're talking head to head. Now, LeBron, I'm going to tell you where he wins out against Michael Jordan. Longevity. It's longevity. But I do think, this is just my personal opinion, I think that LeBron James, after realizing he couldn't catch Michael Jordan in rings, decided to just play for records. Oh, he played the longest. He gets a lot of cumulative statistics. He's not getting the things that, and we could go into the seasons with Michael Jordan, but I just wanted you guys to see this, that LeBron is just not even close, bro. And this is why people say what they say. This is why Dreamers Pro and all those guys say what they say, because it's not close, man. It's really not. Now, do I need to talk about the times he led the league in scoring? No. We all know 10 scoring titles, right? We know that. Right? Steals, he got 1, 2, 3 steals titles. Right? So he got 3 steals titles and 10 times. So that's 13 times where he led the league And when I say led the league, what I'm trying to say is this: there are 13 times, and we not, that's not including all the first team all defenses. I think he got like 8 of those, something like that. So we add all that up. How many times has LeBron been first team on this, plus that, and add it up, and you just see who has? It's not close. You do realize that, right? I hope you do. So notice you don't see a lot of bold areas over here. Minutes played, obviously, got 182 game season. Led the league one time. I thought he led the league. Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm gonna give him. I think he did lead the league in assists one time. I think he did. So uh, I'll give him that. Right, he led the league in assists one time. I think that's probably one of those years when he didn't play that many games. But that's it. Now I'm just gonna go off the top of my head with the people I know for a fact that LeBron has played with that were significant, heavy hitters. I'm not gonna do the Shaquille O'Neal because Shaq was on his way down. He was in his decline, but the year prior, playing with Steve Nash, he was an all-star, but we're gonna let that go, right? If you go with Ilgauskas, then he goes to Miami. One of the lesser known things that people don't realize, LeBron James is an analytical guy. He studies the statistics and he finds out who is the most efficient in the clutch. Well, if you go back to 2012, 2013, you'll realize 2014, one of the most accurate guys in the clutch, apart from Kyrie Irving, was a guy by the name of Danny. Well, Kyrie, this was when he was in Miami. Danny Granger. Well, guess who he tried to get to the Miami Heat to acquire through trade, and he was injured. Danny Granger, because he was a very clutch player. I remember he was very clutch. He was very accurate in the clutch. That's who he wanted because he knows he's not a clutch player. LeBron James is not a clutch player. LeBron James is not a guy that you play with and you get better. That's another myth, that you get better when you play with him. Rodney Hood, anyone, right? We all know Rodney Hood was averaging like 17 points. I think it was Portland or Utah, one of them. He goes and plays with LeBron James and he's averaging 2 points, 3 points. And it was terrible. And I've seen this happen with everybody that plays with him. They say he makes people better. You can't name really anybody, but if you want to try to say Kyrie, you used to could until last season he went and cooked the whole Western Conference and they went to the finals. Him and Luka went to the finals. Now they lost to Boston, but still, him and Luka went to the finals. That's significant given that Kyrie Irving is supposed to be some sort of Kyrie hasn't done anything since he left LeBron. Okay. And on top of that, now we all know Kyrie is being blackballed for calling out a certain group of people, saying some things or posting something on the internet. And that certain group of people, majority of them own the internet. Not only they own the NBA, they own the NFL, they own banking, they own pretty much a lot of things. They're very powerful. They cannot be talked about. So that's why Kyrie. But as you can see, and the reason I wanted you guys to see that there wasn't any bold areas with LeBron James, this speaks to not leading in anything. This speaks to he's not even the best player on his own team. Hasn't been since he got to LA. Has not. In the 2020 season when they won that bubble chip, oh, wait a minute. That was the bubble season, wasn't it? I forgot. I should put that season back. That 55 win season. I'll probably put that one back. Let me go back. That was the bubble chip year. Yep. That's what that was. Anyway, that was the COVID year, so I got to put that back. But that's when he got his statistics, but he didn't even play 82 games that year. But that's neither here nor there. The point I'm trying to make is he still doesn't measure up. And I'm going to just keep going down, making different content from time to time about it. But right now, I just wanted to give you guys an introduction to the channel and why I say what I say. God bless y'all. Have a good one.